welcome to episode 10 of Loot Level Chat, the podcast about video games from lootlevelchill.com. My name's Adam Cook, and I'm joined by Stephen.
Hello.
Lyle.
What up?
And Mick. How are you guys?
Yeah, good, man.
Good. Hot.
Warm.
Fucking hot.
Warm,
yeah,
yes, very
good.
warm. Very warm.
Yeah, we feeling it already?
Right.
Oh, it's there.
It's
26, is it 26 here today? Fucking yeah.
Let's
25.
not. Oh no, we can't start off by talking about temperatures.
We're British, that's what we do.
Yeah, this is the point. This is more
If it
important.
was
than video
raining,
games.
I would have said chucking it down, and I'd probably shown you that as well. Just that's what we do.
Yes,
Well,
but-
if you
Come and
are,
shut ourselves in tiny rooms and chat.
yeah,
Where it's
if you
really
are
hot,
new to
brilliant.
the podcast, we normally talk a bit about game news, then we talk about some stuff we've been playing, and we do a listener question of the week. We're not doing that this week. We're sort of doing a one-off special where we're going to look forward a little bit to what's coming still this year. So we've got what we've done is we've each picked some games we were anticipated, like that we hope are really good, and we're going to just go through the list and have a little chat about them. Like I say, normally different format for the pod, but we wanted to do something a bit different. There's a lot we can't
Everything's
talk about right now.
embargoed. Let's just
Yeah, like it's well, it's a combo, isn't it? It's a combo of most everything we want to talk about right now is embargoed, and other things we are still playing that we've kind of talked about.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start. I think this is a pick from you, Steve. And the first game
indeed.
on our most anticipated of 2025 remaining, shock horror. It is Mario Kart World, Stephen.
I mean, this surprises no one, does it, as far as it goes?
What I should say, there is some criteria for this list, sort of. But I never told
Was
anyone. But no, this is the thing. I forgot to tell anyone.
Oh, good, yeah.
So I tried to pick only games I haven't played any significant amount of. So, for example, spoilers. Doom isn't on this list because I played like 3 hours of that at a preview event. So it felt like I don't get me wrong, I can't wait to play more of it, but I have played some of it. I think Mario Kart World still fits this, Steve, because we didn't play like hours and hours of it.
We've maybe had 40 to 50 minutes somewhere there.
And
Not a
even
huge
that's
amount,
maybe
enough for a little
generous.
taste, at
Even
least.
that's maybe generous. I mean,
Yeah, possibly.
in different
it was enough to-
configurations, I couldn't tell you anything about any of the tracks, truth be told.
Apart from there being a few retro bits thrown in there that I do remember. Everything was so fresh and new, and it was such a
And they're bigger.
bombardment of new stuff.
They're bigger.
They're
And
much wider.
They're much wider, and there's stuff you can do. But look, that's not what we're here. We're not most anticipated Mario Kart World, right?
Is it because the tracks are wider?
I've ever seen.
It's the what? The biggest game you've ever seen?
It's the biggest Mario Kart we've ever
right.
seen.
Fair.
Not the biggest game. The biggest Mario Kart. Huge rosters, massive open world.
surely everybody's in it, right? Surely everybody who's ever been in.
There's
Oh,
someone
everyone
who's-
and more. There's 70 odd characters by the looks of it. And then some absolute bangers, including Cow from
Cow.
New
46 of
Meadow.
those are different coloured toads, I imagine, because that's
Oh, yeah. The Dolphin from the Dolphin track, I can't remember the name of. Dolphin Shoals, maybe? Something like that?
I love the dolphin from the dolphin track.
I love the fact that they made
an
that a
all-timer.
character. It's like
Well, again, Cow.
Cow is, Cow. The real legendary stuff. I can't wait to pick the stupidest nothing character and only play as them.
the chair Mario
like-
sat on in that one game was just in a car.
100% in maining Goomba, man. That's going to be my choice straight away. Just get a little bad boy in
You're
there.
normally a
You've
Bowser
got
man.
big Goomba energy.
I'm always Bowser.
What do I just give off?
Yeah.
The mushroom.
The mushroom.
No, not the mushroom. Fucking. What? Hang on. Are they mushroom variants?
The
What?
mushroom.
Goombas? No, I don't think
Yeah.
so.
What?
They're a bit
of
mushroom-like.
Oh, I
mushroomy
suppose they
shaped.
are.
They're dinosaurs that Dennis Hoffman tried to grow and it went wrong.
Oh,
no.
Surely you
True.
remember.
There's
Yeah.
a memory I didn't
I mean,
need.
it explained all the lore right there in the 90s movie.
I mean, I'm just going to say this right off the bat. If I'm a listener, I don't need you to have told me that you're all feeling the heat right now, because this is like a fever dream for me. So,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mario Kart World is one of those I'm genuinely like really excited to see more of, because I know that the direct that we talked in depth about, like it ended up being more of here's a collation of all the information. There was new stuff, like they revealed that there's like quests you can do out in the open world, but I think everyone's excited to see stuff like Nintendo don't show their hand fully until like late, and like
There's
we don't-
certainly going to be more we haven't seen.
well,
yet.
Rainbow Road.
Yeah.
Have we seen a Ghost House level? Have we seen, like, you know...
Not that I can think.
We've seen the one that looks a lot like a cinema that has the feel of the Ghost House ones, and it goes back to the like 1930s sepia grainy shots. So I'm guessing that's as near as we've had so far.
That's cool.
Yeah,
God,
it's
so
it's the little bits we haven't seen. I've been big back into time trialing again, and we've not seen any of how that's going to work.
Like, yeah, leaderboards you mentioned to me, like
that. Oh man, yeah, I desperately need to have better leaderboards than they've had for a little while. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They've made it so difficult over time. Like, this is the Nintendo thing of they don't want to make things overly competitive, which is ridiculous when you consider what's happened with, like, say, Smash or even like the world record on time trials here. And they made it hard to go and look at your friends' times. You know, you'll be scrolling through lists trying to find bits and pieces for it. It's always been a pain in the arse. I just want that to be simple again, and I'm desperately holding out for that, man. I want it to be, you know, so easy to go against your mates.
I'd love to say, like, I'm sure it'll be fine, but I was thinking back to our conversation in another life about NES Edition.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the remix.
Which, again, sorry, I should say, I think that's a fantastic video game. Like, that's not what I'm getting at. I just the lack of that sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
one of the other things I'm looking forward to, obviously, it being the big one on day one, is that sense of community as well, and everyone who's going to be there. I just want everyone diving in, getting involved. You know, we played multiplayer again recently, and I forgot just how much fun that can be, even when you hate everybody around you.
It was funny because I kept thinking. Pardon? Sorry, what was that last bit?
What? Nothing.
No, sorry. Yeah. I kept thinking during that session I should probably head off after this one, but then I didn't say it out loud, and I'm like, well, if I'm not fucking saying it, I'm not saying it. Someone else is going to have to stop this one. I'm not being the one. It is genuine, but I will say. The other thing I took away from that, apart from the fact is I had forgotten, like you, Steve, just how much fun it is. It's the first time I've played that game and thought, actually, this could do with a slight visual uptick. And I don't know if, and this isn't one of them things where I'm like, well, we've played Mario Kart World.
It's because we've tasted it, though, isn't it? That's the problem.
It might, because I did play that whole session in handheld on an OLED, and it made me think of the conversations we'd had when we were playing Switch 2 at the event, that you were saying, like, I don't think you're going to miss the OLED. I mean, they'll do it. We all know they will, but like, it was one of those where like, this looks unbelievable on, and we played it both handheld and TV. It does look just that. It was just small things, like I was playing as Diddy. For a fair bit, and like just some of the not textures as such, but some of the models looked a little bit like, almost blocky around the elbows, if that makes sense. So where it's more rounded now, and I know you're talking like real minuscule shit there, but like I did notice it. It was you know,
it's because now Mario Kart World is how you remember Mario Kart 8 being.
Yes,
it's not.
But it's also worth mentioning, and again, I don't feel like there's many people saying this but it is true. This is the first new Mario Kart in over 10 years. Mario Kart 8 was on Wii U. Yeah. That was a Wii U game. This ultimately, it was designed with Wii U in mind. This is the first... A whole console generation has gone by, you know?
We have had new stuff, you know, with the add-on packs in the meantime.
Yeah, but it still was
and we virtually had an entire new game if you look at the amount of tracks we've had.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the visuals were designed for a Wii U. And we're now talking like 4K stuff for Nintendo. And
they've stood up for a long time, man, to be fair. They've put the work in.
I'm not saying it looks shit. I'm not saying it looks rubbish or anything like that. I'm just saying I thought this does have room for improvement, slightly. Yeah.
And we're getting it. Yeah. And very, very soon now, it is looming.
Oh my God, it's so close.
We're a month away now, pretty much.
But by the time people hear this podcast on the non-Patreon feed, patreon.com/lootlevelchill. You can get it early and in a bonus
because why wait for
pod.
us? Just get straight on it.
But yeah, like it will be, pretty much a month to the day almost.
And like I don't think there are many games on this list either where like the majority of us on the call like would have it in their top like 2 almost no matter what. Do you know what I mean? Like it'd be so difficult to move and to not just have that right up there, because like if you hadn't said you wanted to pick this first, Steve, like, you know, it was pretty much first on my list.
I'm having that right away.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's the universal appeal of it as well. This is the game that you can play competitively. You can get in there and get time trials there, but you can also chuck your grandma at it, get her on controlled steering and have a laugh, you know?
Or you can just play on your own, like playing fucking single player, like just doing the
Grand Prix it up.
Grand Prix and shit, unlocking stuff, all that sort of thing. That's great fun.
That's one of the things I find the most exciting, that although they haven't explicitly said like there is a single player mode, the addition of the sort of objective things in the open worldy stuff does have me going, what aren't they telling us? What aren't they telling us?
Well, arguably, this is the most single-player mode we will ever have had, because otherwise it's been Grand Prix and unlocks, but now there is stuff to actively go and seek out.
For sure.
It's going to be a grand old time, I tell you now.
Well, speaking of games that were sort of picked, I jokingly picked this, but it is actually probably high on my list. Lyle, talk to us about... well, we talked recently about it, so perhaps we don't need to go as detailed, but Date Everything.
Date Everything is a great thing to have on this list. This is the, just show everyone how different and varied these games are entry for the list. It is the dating sim where you can date all the objects in your house, and they're all different, and there's just so much. There looks to be so much to it. You've got the whole first person exploring of the house to find the things you want to romance. We talked about the silly names of the characters when we were talking about this last time, because they're all objects. And this is just one of those games where it's like, I'm usually the one here who, loves the dating sims, loves the Otome games and all these weird different, spins on this visual novel genre. But this feels like it's sort of like a extra silly and extra sort of easy mass appeal to people who maybe wouldn't normally immediately be like, oh yes, I want to play this game where you are a young office worker who has hunks all around them, and the ones that are more slice of life almost. This is the exact opposite of that. This is stupid as hell in all the right ways. And I'm super, super excited for this one for sure. I think this is going to be a really good time. Going to be something totally different. It's almost like a new spin on a genre that's been around for a very long time, and I think that's really, really cool. And I'm glad it's getting the sort of the attention and the push, from
It feels like this has had more attention than a lot of things in the genre before.
I think maybe than anything in the genre before.
Is that, do you think, partially because it was delayed, which made people, they're talking, this game's it's been talked about more than the kind of regular review beat marketing sort of thing. It's a bit different because. I mean, it's still a niche game. Let's not kid ourselves, I suppose.
Oh, for sure. But it's it's a bit more it reminds me of when Hatterful Boyfriend, the pigeon dating game, came around, and everyone was like, "What the fuck is this?" And it kind of got a bit of a buzz because of that element. Yeah. But this has got a bit more behind it. It's got it's Team 17 behind it. It's had that extra bump. It's
my only concern is, does it get too memey? Because I think back to do you remember that game Stray, which is not a bad game by the way, but it's a bit it can become a little bit exhausting. Some games where it's okay, we get it.
It was GIF Central for a good 2 months leading up to it, wasn't it?
I mean, the trailer to this genuinely made me laugh. I thought it was clever, silly pun work, and I'm absolutely in for that. But I hope it doesn't lean too. It's not a
goat simulator type thing. Yeah, one of those. Yeah. It's just a bit much. I don't think so. I don't from what I've seen. I don't think I'm leaning that way. I can see why that would be maybe a concern, but yeah, I think I just think it's something very different, and I think they know it's something different, and I think they're I'm hopeful at the very least. I mean, obviously, I don't think any of us have played this game or anything remotely to do with it, so we don't know. We don't know. I guess it's not one where with Mario Kart World, obviously it's we know that's going to be pretty fucking special. Whereas this is there's an element of ooh, how's this one going to turn out?
They've cut a good trailer, haven't they? They've cut a really good trailer or two.
Yes.
It definitely looks.
And
great.
Hopefully that is a good trailer for a very good game. That's my big hope for when this releases for sure.
And also a great shout to say, if you are new to our pod, go back a few episodes where we talked in detail about that trailer, because that was a great fun time and a good laugh. That was a really good trailer. But we can move on. Back to Steve. Although I say that, I kind of feel like every one of us is excited for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4.
Well, I'll play, yeah. Tony Hawk's 3 was, an entire year's worth of...
Yeah, these were the ones that I sort of
for me.
fell into the series. I didn't really play much of 1 and 2. I didn't have a PlayStation 1. I didn't really have many friends who did back at that like younger age. But like, yeah, 3 and 4, like I've played both of these to death and absolutely love them and think that they were like kind of the pinnacle of the series almost for me. So yeah, I'm super excited to get back on Tony Hawk. It's been too fucking long because I didn't even play with the 1 and 2 remake, and I don't know why I didn't, but I wanted to.
They're so good, and that's what's got my hype up for this as well. Seeing how well that was worked at the time.
Yeah.
As soon as they came out, I was straight away just like cross everything to be remaking the whole series, and we're slowly getting there.
I love the way they've done it as well. Like they gave you 1 and 2, now they're giving you 3 and 4. It's not like it doesn't feel drawn out or
drip feeding them out.
Yeah.
Where will you be playing it, Steve? Out of interest, what format?
PS5 probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it'd get use out of the Portal too. Because it's the kind of thing I can just grab it and go and lay in bed and kick the arse out of it for like 5 hours.
But you could do that with Switch 2 as well.
That is true.
Well, so you've made you think, haven't I?
You're thinking, yeah, I could do that as well.
I mean,
it'll be a nice little test for the Switch 2, I think.
You say that, but now you made me a bit sad thinking about that because now I could see all the arguments, and it's going to be non-stop in it. Like, here, look at the Switch.
We're going to see that for everything, aren't we? For at least the next 12 months.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. This is important.
But let's not get down on this stuff. Yeah.
No.
Tony Hawk's. I mean, it's a huge nostalgia trip for me. I say 1 and 2 love to death. 3 on PS2 blew my mind at the time because it was such a step up as well. You know, going from the PS1 graininess up to a bright and shiny PS2 vision back in the day. PS2 Yeah, it was wonderful, man. And I assume it's still going to be. And knowing what we got from 1 and 2, there's going to be a whole load of new stuff to do. One of the big things for me that carried me through was having all the new challenges in there to work through. So it's not just the in-game challenges to do. There's all sorts that you're doing in the background via XP or doing certain combos, finding weird collectibles, pulling off odd little combos across places you might not have thought of. They've added so much into that. There's definitely going to be something there, even if you've kicked the arse out of 3 and 4 back in your youth.
I find it weird that we're sat here waiting for Skate 4. Well, it's just Skate,
just Skate, isn't it? Yeah.
Which is going to be like an online-only game, and here's Activision of all companies doing. By all accounts, we don't know about 3 and 4, but it's probably good. But like the 1 and 2, you know.
Yeah, they're two very different beasts though nowadays.
No, but I mean, in terms of like you say about like. Let's face it, you know, when a lot of the news is about layoffs, blah, 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 and people wanting to make money, there doesn't sound like there's like loads of being shoehorned into Tony Hawk's in that respect.
Yeah.
I've played some of Skate as well, the new one. The
you probably can't talk about it.
I've not tried this out yet.
I think it's a play test. Yeah, I won't discuss anything.
Well, no, I mean, it's rather telling that it's not on this list and a remake of Tony Hawk's is. So yeah. I wouldn't disagree with that either, by the way.
It's not my thing,
no,
really. But Tony Hawk's has got the nostalgia, which is a
different,
bit...
aren't they? Like Tony Hawk's is an arcadey game, and Skate
arcade score attack versus semi-realism. But even Skate falls in a weird position now because you've had things like Session since, which push the realism up again. So Skate sits in a weird spot nowadays. But
well, we're not doing them ranked, but that's the third game on our most anticipated games of 2025. The fourth one, I think, is... Well, actually, the next two are ones that I think are the more unknowns, although in a weird way, because Ghost of Yotei...
Yotei.
Yotei is next up. I think that's one of yours, Mick? I mean, it definitely is, even if you haven't picked it.
It's probably my... it's probably my most anticipated for the year, that.
Yeah, it's looking rather tasty at the moment, isn't it?
It looks fantastic. But Tsushima was, so I've got high hopes. I'm just my expectations are just really high going straight into this. Like,
does it bother you at all that it's like not a continuation? I actually never finished Ghost of Tsushima, so I don't know if that's a thing, like, or if people are bothered by the fact. Well, I know people are bothered by the fact, but I mean. You know, that it's not a continuation. Is that?
It doesn't bother me at all. Like, because the thing was, Jin's story ended. Like, even though there was
Okay, that's what
DLC afterwards, like his story arc, his character arc was done. Like, it went start to finish done. So I think if they'd have dragged him back and then created a new whole like adventure for him to go on, plus they would have had to do that weird thing where you play 60 to 80 hours as a character and then they've got to take all this stuff away when you
That's
start the
always
next
weird.
game. They've got to go, well, now you've got to learn to do all
I
this
don't
again.
think
Now
someone
you've
could
got
get
to-
away with that now.
Well,
I think games have come too far to be like, oh, you know that game you loved before? Yes, somehow it's got amnesia.
yeah.
Metroid
Well,
Prime
they
4,
managed
anyone?
they managed to not do it in Ragnarok,
Shut
didn't
your
they?
mouth,
they,
Stephen.
it's possible. Yeah, but isn't that like a standard
They
Metroid
haven't said
thing
that's
anyway?
the-
Like,
yeah, but
Metroid, yeah.
they
Samus
haven't
Aran
said
loses everything
no, they
between
haven't said
every
that,
game.
and I reckon they're getting around that because when I played the preview of that, you already had a double jump, you already had like the rockets, and they've introduced these I forget what they call in the trailer, like these like ghost powers or something, or spirit powers.
Mate, they're going. Do not get used to those. They're out of there.
Fine, but Ghost of Yotei is.
But I also, it's got anything's a backlash these days. It's fucking exhausting. Like, anything you do is someone's going to kill. I mean, Christ, it's completely off topic, but like they showed the Predator Badlands trailer and half the internet's crying because the Predator doesn't look the same as the other Predators, and now the Predator's woke because he has a fucking ponytail.
Predator.
It's just the internet as a collective is just pathetic. So it's like so obviously Yotai's
Please
gone.
subscribe.
Yeah,
To this
so
internet-based podcast.
Well, it is. You know, Yotei it's got a female protagonist. So everybody was upset about that. Now that's woke. So it's just, I just think it's going to be fantastic. I think that team with the same. I mean, it's probably going to have the same mechanics. They're going to add to it. Every sequel adds something.
Is it like more modern in any way? More modern, like timeline-wise? Is it like more further along in history? If that makes sense.
It doesn't seem that way.
Weaponry or
it doesn't seem that way from the trailer because there were already. Were there guns? Were there muskets or anything in Ghost of Tsushima? I honestly, genuinely can't remember because there were in Rise of the Ronin, and now my brain.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what's, and also then there's Assassin's Creed Shadows recently, which is there's definitely bow and arrows, definitely. I don't remember.
Yeah,
guns.
I don't know if it's much more advanced through history. I'm not sure. I imagine it's probably not. I imagine it's roughly the same era. It's just because I'd never heard of Yotei. I don't know where Yotei. Obviously, it's in Japan, but I don't know. I've never heard of Yotei. I'd heard of Tsushima before Ghost of Tsushima, so I don't know where. It could be before. It could be a prequel. It could be. I genuinely don't know. I haven't actually checked.
Runs in parallel guest appearance from previous characters, possibly.
It wouldn't shock me if Jin popped up in it somehow, but I don't know how you could do that because it's not that
I've
kind
read
of.
that it's further along. Like it's more,
Yeah.
I don't want to say more modern because that makes it sound like you're going to be throwing like ninja samurai sort of cyberpunk.
Well, it could
I'm
be.
sure it's more further along the timeline, but I
It
don't know
could
if
be
I'd
more
imagine
modern because Tsushima was a while back. You know, like it was set quite like a few hundred years ago. So
Probably
like
find out. Hang on.
they could slot Yotei in. I keep saying Yotei, it's Yotei. I looked it up and checked one of those pronunciation videos and found out how you actually say it.
What about the fact that we've now got a year where you've had obviously the latest AC game and now this within a few months of each other?
Well, Rise of the Ronin as well hit
And Rise of the Ronin,
this year
exactly.
as well. So it's
been
got
a busy year for that setting.
yeah, but they're all really different. Like they are genuinely really different games. Like aesthetically, they're similar, obviously, but gameplay wise, I mean, Rise of the Ronin and Assassin's Creed Shadows are chalk
hang on.
and cheese.
I've got it. Sorry, I was reading the Wikipedia there, and there's some stuff I picked out that distracted me because you can have dual katanas, which I'm sure is a new thing. It is set 329 years after the events of Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
I can't speak.
So chances of him popping up are pretty slim.
Pretty low.
Unless he's on a
He'd be
mural.
bit past it.
I'm not 100% sure what year Tsushima was actually set
Well,
in. It was
I can tell you that as well. Well,
because
sort
it was
of.
the Mongols, wasn't it? So it was.
Well, tell you what, Lyle, you're the man with a maths degree, right?
Nope.
So
No,
well,
untrue.
you're the maths man now. I'm sorry.
I am the maths man now.
So this is how quickly can you do this? And I know someone will be listening and judging you very seriously.
This is very
No
bad.
pressure, mate,
It's
no
hot
pressure.
weather. Hot weather.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
this.
We've done that caveat, right? So Ghost of Yotei, whatever, is set 300. Oh, it was set in 1603. Okay, which is 329 years after Tsushima. So when was
So
Tsushima set?
1932.
Don't help him.
Yeah, something like that.
1932.
Yeah, it's got really.
Wait,
It's the other way.
So you've gone.
You said
up.
what's set in 1600? Sorry.
This game goes to Yotei.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying
30.
Tsushima was in
it's
1600.
the
This is
future. No, it's
329
329 years after, which is now 1603. So it's 15.
Now I want a 1930 samurai game. Brilliant.
Adam, when you're editing this, dub this bit over your hands. So it was definitely set in 15, wasn't it, lads?
That's right. Yes.
So 329 years before 1600. Isn't
Yes.
1500 something, is it?
Yes.
Oh,
just
God,
what you
this is
said.
embarrassing. We are such thick as pig shit, aren't we, to a
If
man?
only you had someone good with
I
numbers.
refuse to bother
Shit.
trying. It's too much.
Chris would have done it already.
We don't need to prove ourselves to anyone.
No,
And
damn
luckily we
right.
can't. So, yeah.
They already know we're stupid. It's fine.
It's interesting
Oh,
because, like...
1274.
Sure.
He's got it. Perfect.
Yeah, okay, I agree.
No, you can't see that I'm using the calculator. I could have got away with that.
No, you not at all. Wouldn't have had a clue. Just thought you were really
No
clever.
evidence.
A
I am
female
really
warrior, Atsu, who adopts a persona of the Onryu. Isn't that something from... Oh, this sounds really Assassin's Creed Shadow.
Onryo is what the ring is. The
Okay.
woman with big long hair in the
spirit
ring.
lady.
That type of ghost, yeah.
But check this out. She adopts this persona to exact revenge on the Yotei 6, a group of 6 masked outlaws who murdered the family in her childhood.
Oddly familiar.
Does sound very familiar. Because if you hadn't had Yasuke in Assassin's Creed, that would have been the story.
The
Assassin's
story.
Creed.
100%.
But there's room. There's room for all of these games.
Of course there is.
I just think it looks a little, from what we've seen in trailer things, it looks a little more simplistic than the more recent Samurai set.
It's
games
quite a
we've
way
had.
off, though, isn't it? Like, isn't it September? So I mean, they'll have a full
time.
direct for it, or whatever they call them.
Yeah, but
PlayStation.
Tsushima wasn't a hugely complex game. Like the collectibles were pretty straightforward. The combat was just, that's what I'm looking forward to.
It was
Yeah.
satisfying, man.
Tsushima's combat was spectacularly good. It's the only game I know like that didn't need the lock-on. Like everybody said, why hasn't it got a lock-on button? But once you got into the flow of it, it really didn't need one. You had to have that omnidirectional movement.
I'm going to make a bold claim. No,
Well, I
claim.
can't.
You think they'll put it in Yotei, don't you?
I do, but that's not what it was.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's not a claim so much as a bold hope. I really hope they bring the multiplayer back. It was really good.
Really
I never got
good,
to
and
try
no
that.
one played it because everybody was doing other things at that point.
It was
But
really good. It was
really
kind of this
good
thing of
multiplayer.
like, you know, if you ever played Ghost of Tsushima and you were thinking, I wish I could play this cult with my mates. They went, what about this? And it's great. It's really great, the multiplayer of that. Like I would absolutely reinstall that game for an evening of I think it was 3 players.
Is that the one where it was more class based as well?
It's class based, but it was like
you have
cooperative.
classes in the multiplayer. Yeah.
You do objectives and stuff together. It's really solid. Let's move on to the 5th game on our list then, and I'm going to need a bit of help here because I don't know anything about this game. So whoever's put it on the list is the game called Spine.
Yeah, this is like Sifu but with guns. Is the best way. It looks like a cross between Sifu and Remember Me, and then like I can't even think of a game with this level of shooting. Maybe like Max Payne 3, like that kind of everything.
What was the game with John Woo in it that was on 360?
Stranglehold?
Stranglehold.
Yeah, that's when you
like,
said that. It made me think of that.
Yeah, so that
It also feels a bit like the movie like Equilibrium as well.
Yeah, because it's gun fu, isn't it? That's what it is.
I'll be honest, you're selling me pretty hard on it.
It looks fucking spectacularly fun. I mean, it looks like a sort of game that once you stop, because all we've seen is obviously gameplay trailers. They've shown a lot of gameplay off now. It's one of those games where, like with Sifu, where everything's contextual. Like if you're near a wall, you'll do a wall move. If you're near a bench, you'll do something. It's like that, but with guns. So you're like kicking shotguns out of people's hands, flipping them over, catching them, blowing their brains out. You're doing slow motion acrobatics while shooting, and it's got all that really. But the game, obviously, the gameplay trailers they've shown are really well curated, so everything looks really slick and perfect. Yes. But it does look like it could be one of those games that's like janky as fuck when you actually play it, because it'll be collision all over the place, and that
especially
kind of
when everything that's shown off has been so cinematic as well.
Because it is really cinematic. Like the clips they've shown, like the main character, I don't know what her name is. I did find out, but I can't remember because I have revealed it. But the main character is like a woman. I guess she's an assassin, pair of guns. and it's like, what was that god awful game a while back that it looks like that but done way better? Was it Wanted Dead? Just a pile of shit. But this looks.
Oh, that's harsh.
Yeah, it was bad. This is one of those games that looks like that was kind of a proof of concept almost, and this is because that was similar. Like it was very much, you cartwheel left and right, you're sliding into cover, you're doing the guns akimbo sort of thing. It's got all that stuff in it, but this looks really good. It's like a really good cyberpunky aesthetic. Everything's like neon and. Like the rainy streets of Tokyo style aesthetic, and you're on rooftops with great big glowing billboards behind you, and all that kind of stuff that really got my attention originally. But it just looks really, really good.
It looks like it plays with POV as well, for the fact that you've got some top-down elements for a moment, kind of almost like a Hotline Miami-esque.
Yeah.
And then also the side-on classic old boy fight where you're just seeing that side-on. Like,
that's what Sifu did very much. That's why it really makes me think of Sifu, but it's gun fu instead of kung fu, because it's like that. Like
that, man.
Yeah, but like you burst into you burst into like a room and the camera like angle will switch, and then all of a sudden it's like a side-on thing for a minute, and then like Steve said, sometimes the camera angles from above, and it's just looks really frenetic, and it looks really, really satisfyingly violent.
There's a strong sense of character and aesthetic as well already.
Yeah.
The whole neon spray paint.
Wet. Do you remember Wet, Adam? I think we've spoken about Wet before. I liked Wet a lot. Again, I guess that if I'd have thought of that first, that would have been the best way of describing it, because it looks like Wet.
When you were looking for a game to be like, oh, what is it? And I said Stranglehold. I didn't say. I guessed Stranglehold. I thought you were going to say Wet.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of, because again, that was a female protagonist, and
it's Elijah Dushku, if I remember correctly.
It was, and very violent.
I've not heard for a million years.
Yeah,
really?
Since the day, I think.
Yeah, crikey.
But yeah,
I was young. Steve, this was sort of on your list too. Like, it does sound great. The only thing is, there's two things concerning me. One is you keep saying Sifu, and that is a game I wanted to love and did not get on with at all. And,
I did when I went back. They fixed it after. Like I played it pre-release. Yeah, because they added different levels of difficulty, and they added a lot more. They tweaked the mechanics a lot.
It was a cool game. I couldn't fucking play it. Well, I couldn't do it. It was one that I just couldn't do it.
I remember really struggling with I think it's like the second boss of it. Because I remember we were talking about it pre-release when I was reviewing it, and in the end, I managed to push through, and it was better. But that whole experience had soured me to the game, because it was just frustratingly.
Well, the other thing I'm sort of difficult. This one is like what I was going to ask earlier is, does it look like it's going to be a game that's sort of like 30-40 hours, or does it look like a Sifu where it can be done 5 to 7?
It looks like a 20-hour job.
Oh, it does. Okay.
I think it looks like a 20-hour job. I don't think it looks like it's going to be. I mean, it looks like there's going to be like a possibility of replayability. It looks like a sort of game that people are going to spend time speed running. It's that sort of vibe.
Okay.
Where it looks like it'll have. I don't know whether it looks like the sort of game that could rate the levels. Do you know what I mean? Like you could finish a level and it gives you an A to S, a D to S rank or whatever. Yeah. It looks like that kind of game. But it looks just really, really good. And it's coming to Switch 2. They announced the other day as well. It's going to be on Switch 2. As well as, consoles and PCs. So, yeah.
Okay, well, next on the list is one I actually can't remember who put it on the list, but I suspect at least 3 of us would have it on the list, and it's Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yes.
That wasn't me.
No, it was me or Lyle, I think.
It was
me,
may
as well
I
have been
believe.
Steve. I think it was
you,
yeah.
Lyle.
Well, we all would have had it again.
Of course.
It's the secret game I want more than Mario Kart World. There,
I know, you keep secretly saying that. You keep sneakily, slotting that into the end of sentences and hoping no one notices.
Do you disagree then, or do you want Mario Kart more?
I want Mario Kart.
I know
World.
you do, Steve, but I wasn't sure on Lyle's perspective.
I feel like basically any day that could change based on my mood. Which one I want more?
It's
just
it's because I saw Steve playing it. I know that sounds weird, but I was adamant I'm not going to play this until I can play more of it. And watching him play it, it sort of confirmed everything I hoped it would be, and I'm not going to do it dirty and go, it was Super Mario Odyssey 2. But that's definitely the vibe I got, and I can't think of a game I would... If there was any game in all of gaming that someone said, right, sequel 2 is coming, I can't think of one I'd be more happy to hear than Mario Odyssey 2. Do you know what I mean?
It's a tough one for sure. Yes,
like,
100%.
Genuinely cannot think of. I don't even Mario Kart because it's more Mario Kart. It's a sequel, and I'm really pleased. But this just looks fucking great.
Yeah.
What was the last Donkey Kong game? Was it Tropical Freeze or Country or the last Donkey Kong game?
Yeah, Tropical Freeze on Wii U.
Is this a sequel?
No, this is
3D. So they sequelised Donkey Kong? I know nothing about Donkey Kong.
No,
Donkey Kong Country Returns and Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze are a pair.
Yeah, but like for the most part, like basically this is the first new 3D Donkey. Well, there's been one other 3D Donkey Kong ever, and that was on the Nintendo 64. So it's like it's a long time coming. It's something we've not had anything like for a very, very long time, and it doesn't seem anything like Donkey Kong 64 because that was fucking ages ago and very, very different. This seems like Mario Odyssey-esque in a lot of ways, but I mean, it just has a lot of like everything I've seen in like people playing it, Treehouse like trailery like things, all those sorts of things. Has just been like it's got like a lot of character to it. Like I love DK's new design.
Bloody hell!
Like,
Careful.
I know. Sorry, everyone. I do.
Controversial.
That internet, they'll get you.
I don't care. They can do it. They can try
I agree. It looks cool as hell.
They've made Donkey Kong woke.
They have. He's now different. Now he wears dungarees for a little bit.
I want to say Wokey Kong, but I feel like someone's done that already. So
surely they have. Yeah, definitely. But like even stuff like they're like tearing up the ground and throwing it to
that's crazy, and you can
and all that sort of stuff.
You can skateboard down it. But this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
Watching Steve play it, I don't even know if you did it on purpose, but when you found out you could motion control.
Yeah, doing it, all the bashing through.
Because I feel like they hadn't made any big deal about that whatsoever. And all of a sudden you were doing that, and I was like, Steve, what did you just do then? And he's like, what do you mean? It's like, you were just punching. And it's like, yeah, it's motion controlled, and then you can aim the rocks and throw them with motion controls. And I'm like, since fucking when? Like,
why do you know that and I don't?
Yeah. And I was like asking questions, wasn't I? Like, can you, because you can bang down and like you can jump up and bang down. And like, I don't know what level of motion control there is. I mean, let's be honest, we only saw a couple of levels anyway, so God knows what, I mean, if you'd only seen the first few levels of Mario Odyssey and then what you see eventually in that game, it's
again, it's just another choice, isn't it? Will I play the entire game that way?
I know,
probably not, but knowing it's there and having a bit of a laugh with it for a while, well up for it, why not?
Yeah,
but you didn't play this at the event.
I didn't. He did. Yeah,
I sorry,
I was a special one that day.
Yeah,
I refused. Fuck you, Nintendo. I'm not playing it.
There was even a member of Nintendo staff who said, like, go and have a go on it now, and I'm like, no, I don't want to.
Oh wait, I don't want to ruin it.
It was more.
You didn't want to want it, did you? More than
I didn't want to play 20 minutes of that, knowing because that wouldn't be enough. Because I could see from him playing it, that's not going to be enough for me. 20 minutes, not in a bad way, in a way of I'm not going to be able to get this out of my head for months. It's going to consume my mind. I need to not. I'm sure we'll get a chance to play it at some point. That's fine. Just seeing it up close, seeing how it looked, the colours, the fidelity, the movement, the frame rate, and understanding what it was. Because as I say, the thing about Mario Odyssey is it was a magnificent 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 game, fucking frankly. But like you could play it a second time and discover, the technique where you can get the longest jump by bouncing on your hand. I'm watching Steve play it and discover, oh, hang on, you can just rip rock out of the floor, and then the person on the demo station said, yeah, you can do this, and all of a sudden he's like riding it down a hill, and it's like, if that's what you can discover in this first level, do you see what I'm getting at? And so I'm like, I don't. 100%. And as soon as that was the moment, I was like, no, I'm not playing this now. Not now. Not this. Yeah. It's too long. July's too long. It looks fantastic.
I also really love that it's July, so it's a month after the Switch launch. I love that we've got amazing games on that first day. Stuff we're so excited for. Obviously Mario Kart that is like almost even for a lot of us between this and Donkey Kong. And then a month later, when we've just about had our fill of the launch stuff, we get this massive fucking like bomb of another great game. A fucking 3D platformer from Nintendo.
Yeah.
Great.
If they can keep that pace up again of one a month, it's going to be absolutely killer, isn't it? It's going to be unbelievable.
And like they have enough games to basically do that to the end of this year already announced,
Big time. Next on the list then is one of mine. And again, I won't talk about this for too long because we have mentioned it on a recent-ish podcast. The Alters is finally dated, and we know it's coming. And I won't go on about it again. I get it. I get that this is a game that a lot of people might say, it's like a 7 out of 10 or something when they play it. But when I played that demo, must be nearly a year ago at this point, it just felt like they'd reached into my brain and took an idea out, if that makes sense. Like, it just felt like that combination of kind of Satisfactory, Mass Effect, XCOM that I never knew was even possible to create. And I'm just like, stick the landing. You know what I mean? Desperate for them to stick. And we will know soon. I mean, I think it's June, isn't it? I can't even remember. I think I wrote the news story, but I'm sure it's June.
It's very soon. I know that.
It's not far off.
But just stick the landing, please. I mean, they've delayed it enough that you would like to think they're at a point where if we put a date on it and we're releasing it in June, it's good. You know, and 11-bit studios generally do.
I think the story element of it looks really good as well. Like
That's
that's
what got me the very first minute of the demo, where you're sort of walking around a rocky vista and it's got like really beautiful visuals, and it felt like Mass Effect walking around a barren wasteland. I am really ready for that game. Like, I just hope it doesn't disappoint. Like, I hope it stays on.
I don't think it will. I think it's going to be a solid. I don't know whether it's going to be a GOTY contender, but I think it's going to be solid.
No, I'm not expecting a 10. I'm not, but I feel like it's one of those sort of followed it for so long. I'm sort of invested now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the.
I think it's going to be good.
I hope so. We're going to jump back to Steve for the last one for this episode, because Yooka Replyalee, Steve.
I'm just on a nostalgia trip, aren't I, today? That's all I've done. Is just chosen old stuff with fancy new skins, basically. I mean, this is going to be, I guess, controversial for a lot of people, because a lot of people do not like
we get into it.
Obviously, ukulele's woke.
Here it comes.
Before we get into it, right, actually, it's interesting to me, because I can't remember, Lyle, if you liked the game.
Yes, I really liked Yooka-Laylee, and the reason, for this for me is that I played it after about 9 months after it launched, so I had the little extra signposting to go places, and there was a few things where everyone was like, "Oh, they've done this to fix it up a bit," and I don't know why it took me so long to play it, because I was a backer back in the day, I had it ready, I backed it on Kickstarter. I got the code. I got all this stuff. I was ready to play it early, but for some reason, I might have played maybe 15 minutes or something, but I just didn't find the time. And then when I went back to it, I was like, "Oh, this is really good." And I was I can't think of many games I'm a bigger fan of than the Banjo-Kazooie games, which are obviously what it's like.
There you go, man.
Pretty much a throwback to, obviously. And yeah, they are as high up as it gets for me in terms of games of the past that I just played so much. I'd listen to the music when I wasn't playing it. I'd just go through it a lot, and Yooka-Laylee, it scratched that itch. It wasn't maybe the most perfect, amazing time ever. I didn't do everything. It didn't it wasn't a game that I found myself rinsing. But I love the idea of it being, remade in this way that means that maybe it will be that, have that little extra level of shine that pushes it from a really good 3D platformer to next level.
And bearing in mind, it's not just going to be a shiny new skin. There's a whole load of extra stuff being added in as well, with new challenges, new collectibles. Soundtrack's been given a hell of a workover by the sound of it as well. It's almost a whole new game to all intents and purposes. So yeah, hopefully this will remedy the things that people did complain about at the time, which I didn't, so I can't relate at all.
Sorry. Look, I'm kind of with you in some elements, and I really hope this. It is anticipated because I hope it does. I want it to be on the same quality of I forget the name of it now, but is it the Impossible Lair, the sequel, the one that was really Donkey Kong Country?
Oh yeah,
Impossible Lair. Yeah,
I want it to be.
That was more the DK side-scrolling version of.
But I want it to be on that level of quality for the 3D platforming. I thought
it's certainly looking that way from what we've seen so far.
Yeah,
this one for me is a perfect Switch 2 pickup as far as it goes.
Well, it's the weirdest game on the list for me in that we don't have a clue when it's coming, and I think I may have even said on a podcast that they'll announce it, because when the game was first announced, they were one of the first. When the email dropped into my inbox and it said I'm coming to PlayStation Switch 2, and I'm like, huh? Sorry, what was that? You just casually calling it Switch 2, just like that. No one's mentioned it at all.
Didn't bat an eyelid.
So I think the thought was, well, this will be a Switch 2 launch title then, and that's why they've not dated it, because by doing that, they would be dating the Switch 2, which obviously they can't do before Nintendo does. And yet that's come and gone, and
still nothing. Still no date shown, man.
Yeah, so I don't fully understand why it's not dated. But I mean, maybe it still is that situation. Maybe that's going to be one of the big, like, you know, the August game. I don't know, for Nintendo Switch 2, but it would still be coming to other formats. So
I'll take it, Dundu.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. Well, I just, again, 2, 3. Maybe that's.
Hey, what's there not to love about a collector's on, man?
But 2 3D platformers, one's a Nintendo Donkey Kong people have waited for a long time for, and one's a remake. That's rough.
There's room in the world for both.
Oh shit! Yeah, they bring the 3D platformers on, man. Like
yeah,
I know Lyle's
the Nightling was almost on here.
Yeah, that's 3D. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, bring them on, the 3D platformers. Absolutely. I just
3D platformers are woke, man.
Mick has had a weird episode today.
I don't know what the fuck.
Everything's woke.
Okay, all right. As I said, the heat's got to you. Right. That is it for this episode. We've got some more, but we're going to save them for another quiet week, shall we say? But if you enjoyed this pod, go to YouTube at
because we've got some games to talk about next week.
Probably have, yeah. You can follow us on Blue Sky, patreon.com/lootlevelchill, obviously. And yeah, thank you guys for being here. It's been a fun episode to look forward to the future and all the games we're going to be playing and covering. Thank you to Steve, thank you to Lyle, thank you to Mick. Well, less thank you to Mick for this one, to be fair. But
Mick's woke.
Yep. There we go. One more time. And thank you very much for listening or watching this episode. We appreciate it. And we will speak to you in the next episode or whenever you choose to watch or listen. Bye.